All right, take it away. All right. All right, everybody. So this the discussion for this evening is: Are you immortal or are you a Titan god? Reason this discussion came about was, as you can see in this today's world, too many people have a mortal mind, but they claim or try to act like they're a god. They try to act like they know all this consciousness and they have all this amazing shit that they know. Yet they can't even put their life together. They broke as fuck. They got nowhere to lay their head, but they're supermen when it comes to knowledge, right? Then their mentality's screwed up. They still look at people and they still judge people based upon society standards. They still look at life based from family or religious programming. Yet they don't strive or do anything to be immortal. What does it mean to be immortal? Well, there's two levels to that, because many times we hear immortal, we think of extending your physical life. That's one aspect. But true immortality is expanding your consciousness beyond the physical so that you retain the consciousness after your physical ceases to exist, and you can dictate your journey in the afterworld or afterlife, whatever you want to call it. Which one most people try to accomplish is extend their life. Nothing wrong with that, but it's always an expiration date for your physical life. You can live as healthy as you want to be. I done seen pure vegans cut their life short, and I done seen people who eat meat live to 90-something, 100-something years old. So go figure when it comes to that. Why? The mentality. If you think you're going to do all this shit to extend your life and it's going to make you healthier, then you might be fooling yourself sometimes. That when a person who actually says, screw all this shit, I'm going to enjoy my life, do what I do, and they still live longer than someone who's super healthy. It's all about how you think. It's all about how you process. It's all about how you view and what you allow to affect you from outside in, but more importantly, from inside out. Rogue Titan, go ahead.
Yes, sir, man. I love this conversation. I mean, it's dealing with the alchemical transformation of what we are trying to become something else. You see what I'm saying? And one of the aspects that I love to touch on as far as like continuing my consciousness as far as being immortal is by tapping into different archetypes, by reconnecting with different archetypes, whether it be Lucifer, whether it be Seth, whether it be Superman, Spawn, or Thanos, as a thought form for people to keep tapping into these different archetypes. That will just, and me reconnecting with it, will prolong my consciousness after this physical body drops. It gives me another avenue, another conduit of energy for me to be within the realm of matter, or within any realm, within the multiverse where this is going on, a third dimensional reality that I can penetrate in, because I'm tapped into the collective archetypes of that we all have held within the collective mindset of humanity. And that's also another, another aspect that I don't hear too many other people tapping into or trying to, trying to weaponize or ritualize for their existence here now and today. Because, I mean, like you said, it's a lot of people that's, they speaking on shit, but they ain't really walking it. They not walking the talk they talking about. And it's easily to see, it's easily to hear whenever they explain different things. You can tell they're not experiencing the things that they proclaim themselves to be. You know what I'm saying? Talking all this shit about being gods and goddesses. From my perspective, I'm like, we were born that. It's all about trying to transform and become something more, something stronger, something better. So that's like pushing the envelope of our own creativity and our imagination and becoming something that's even outside or beyond the scope of what a god is. You see what I'm saying? Creating a new archetype. You see what I'm saying? Pushing the envelope and trying to, really put our stamp on our creation and being something new. You know what I mean? So that's just, I love this conversation, like I said, because like I don't hear too many people talking about it. I don't hear too many people talking about going within their genes and their genetics and activating their melanin to, tapping into other avenues of creativity. And I feel like with us talking about that shit today will really clear a lot of room or clear the air on shit, and it's gonna provide other people with different avenues and different ideas for them to, ponder within themselves, for them to go about their ritual work and actually embodying this shit that, they hear us talk about, actually really going through the firsthand experience and feeling and becoming the shit that we all talk about, because experience is the best teacher. So You know what I'm saying? I'm amped for this conversation, bro. I appreciate you presenting this shit to us today.
Indeed, indeed. Well, all right. Well, listen. As you were just saying that, it triggered this as well. We all know that we have junk DNA. If you're not familiar with that junk DNA, go do research further on that. But your junk DNA is basically DNA that's laying dormant within you, waiting for you to activate it. When you deal with this aspect, utilizing chaotic energy, utilizing the dark energy, dark matter, you're able to actually activate that junk DNA that's sitting within you, waiting for you to utilize to expand not only your consciousness, your awareness, but opening the gateways and portals to these different vibrational frequencies that we label archetypes or demons or gods or whatever you want to call it. Well, what are ways you could tap into your junk DNA? You can utilize sound or frequencies of vibrations, what some people would call sound magic or sonic magic. Chants, mantras, things of that nature. Meditation is important. You can do void meditation, which is one of the best ways to tap into your actual abyss and tap into the void or the chaos that exists all around us and bring it under your order. There's other ways. For example, Rogue Titan just alluded to this. Create an archetype. More specifically, you as the archetype. Create you as the god or demon, whatever one you want to call yourself, that you are. Because immortality also was considered how long your name survived after your physical death. Do work so great that after your physical death, people will speak about you still hundreds of years, 200 of years later. For example, in Kemet, the Neturu and these pharaohs and things that existed in the past, they still live 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000, 15,000 years down here to us. Their legacy still survives today. That means they're immortal in that sense that their legacy still survives today. What are we doing as individuals and as a group to become immortal to the children and the generation that's after us coming? And the ones that are living here now, when you no longer in the physical, what are you doing that's going to make your memory last? How do you make your memory last? What works are you doing that are greater than what the average person is doing? Or are we just those kind of people that like to talk ish and sound deep? Because, you have a lot of those individuals out there that want to sound deep and have all this conscious awareness, but what are you doing with it? If you're not, first step, if you've not altered and changed your life, you control every aspect of your life, you control what comes in and what comes out. See, a lot of times I hear people and they'll say things like, well, I couldn't stop that from happening. Oh, yes, you can. I'll give you an example. Some people will say, well, accidents happen. Do they? Do accidents really happen, or are there such a thing as accidents? Now, what's interesting is that when we study higher sciences, right, it tells you that nothing in existence happens by accident. Everything happens according to a rhythm and a vibration, okay? Meaning your life, if you have a high, strong voice telling you, don't walk down that street, and you don't listen, and then you walk down that street, you get your ass whipped for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. See, we're going to get upset that we got our asses whipped, right? However, did you not hear the voice trying to warn you? That voice is a part of what is your immortal consciousness. It's trying to make you more aware of your surroundings so you don't end up in predicaments and situations and then want to blame everybody but yourself for why you're there. It sounds harsh because we always want to find someone to blame. Humanity always looking for someone outside of themselves to blame. If you really want to start being immortal, take responsibility for everything in your life. Everything. I mean, the good, bad, ugly, beautiful, the shit that you don't want to tell people, whatever the shit is, take responsibility for that, because that starts the journey and process to taking control over all of your life. But as long as you feel you want to blame someone else and point the finger to someone else, that's going to keep allowing you to give your power away. Stop that. Stop giving your power to other people to dictate, to define you, and to control you. Okay? Because most people, okay, I'll put it this way. Most people, when they view you, they're viewing you based upon what is considered in psychology, they call it implicit personality. Okay? Meaning they look at your personality and they already have, based upon your personality, associated all these other attributes to you without even knowing you. For example, if you're a humorous person, a comedian, you make people laugh, right? They attribute, okay, that person's funny, and a lot of times people attribute intelligence to that person being funny. Oh, just because they're funny, they're intelligent, and that's not always the case. Okay, you got to understand we have a habit of not only that, and I can't remember the terminology right now, but for example, if you were at a shopping center and you go to Publix, Kroger's, whatever grocery stores you have in your area that you may go shopping, and you see somebody with 50 ramen noodles in their shopping cart, your first idea, listen to this closely, y'all, because we do this as human nature automatically. Your first nature many times is to say, damn, that dude likes some serious ass ramen noodles, right? But we don't take account their situation. They might have had a coupon for all those ramen noodles and they're a student in college barely making it by. We don't take that situation into account, so we automatically do what? Judge that person. Do you understand? This is the difference, that when you start to really take an internal journey, you start to realize all these little intricacies that we have about ourselves that we project outward all the time instead of looking within ourselves most of the time. Is it difficult? Sometimes, but not always. You live in a physical world, so you are going to constantly be looking externally. Okay, you got to survive. You got to go to work. You got to do this, this, is that. So you're always going to be looking external. But much time as you give to your external world is as much time you have to start giving to your internal world in order for you to break the binds or the bounds that we put on ourselves and others have put on us. For example, you might have heard me in older videos and even up to this day. All right, so you might have heard this, but I always used to say, in order to really become the master demon or god you chose to be or want to be, you're going to have to test and challenge yourself to break free from the borders, boundaries, and limitations that you set on yourself and that others have set upon you. More importantly is the ones you put on yourself. What is your limit? And is your limit rational or irrational? What I mean by that is, does it make any goddamn sense, your limit? Or is that limit really there because it was imposed upon you based on your family, based on your culture, based upon your upbringing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Look at that. And when you go forward, you're going to say, you'll be able to say yes or no, this limitation was self-imposed or imposed by what I allowed my family or other people to teach me. 1. 2, what are you going to do to test that limitation? To be immortal is to test yourself beyond what you limit yourself, because limitations is a form of laziness. You get comfortable. When you get comfortable, you don't want to challenge yourself. You just coasting. Everything is smooth. It looks all good. And then when the chaos comes in, we get all upset. Well, if you keep challenging yourself, when a chaos comes in, you have the power to have more order over that chaos than if you just don't test yourself and sit back and be chilling and say, you know what, it's all dandy right now. I mean, it really isn't. You understand? So, Brother Rogue Titan, what do you feel a person must do to, 1, define their immortality based on themselves, and 2, steps that they can take to become more immortal?
First of all, by taking self-inventory on yourself, checking your bullshit at the door, like you just talked about, the limitations that the individual may place on themselves, the thought form projections, the limitations they place on themselves. Check that shit. If it's not nothing conducive for your growth spiritually, or consciously, eradicate that shit and replace it with something that's going to be conducive for your alchemical transformation. And you can go about that by doing ritual work and getting down with your altar and doing what you need to do to build yourself up to that self-realization of that's what's necessary for you to grow. And also to tapping into the immortality, just be creative. I tell everybody that be creative and using the power of your own individual imagination and to finding out ways for you individually to tap into resources that everybody else is not tapping into, or tapping into some shit that most people don't see it the way you see it. You see what I'm saying? So it's a certain mentality, a mindset that you will have to have in order to find out the nuggets of energy that's behind everything that we all observe within our reality. It's all there. And it doesn't matter what it is in our reality. If you look at it from a magical lens within a perspective that you want to use it to, fuel your alchemical transformation or your immortality, you can do it. Be creative. Your mind makes it real. What you speak into existence will manifest. You got to trust that shit. You got to know it. And it's all about experiencing. You see what I'm saying? So by also like I said, just being creative and knowing that at the end of the day, your reality, you dictate your reality you're in, or you dictate the holographic reality that you set forth for yourself. There's no one to blame with this shit. There's nobody out here that's gonna help you, and there's also no one out here that's that's really dictating your reality but yourself. You have to take full responsibility, 720 responsibility of your existence. You see what I'm saying? And for most people, that's a hell of a responsibility, which it is, but it scares them because, like you talked about, 99% of people love to put that power outside themselves for somebody to dictate the reality for them, somebody to tell them what to do, how to live, and just how to function as a human being. When I look at it the opposite way, I'm excited. And I jumped at the opportunity once I proved to myself that I was the God of my reality. I was the dictator of the reality that I set forth. And with great power comes great responsibility. But that's a hell of a challenge. But that's a challenge that I go about every day when I wake up, because I'm using that to fuel my alchemical transformation. What better opportunity can I ever want than the one that we all have presently right here within us? You see what I'm saying? Yep. So it's a great opportunity for us to just own that shit, own what you are, and the shit that you experiencing it, embody it, use it to power yourself. You see what I'm saying? But like you talked about, taking self-inventory on yourself every day, finding out what's, some chinks in your armor for the shit that you need to work on, the thing that you need to challenge yourself with to become stronger or to evolve more, you know what I mean? And do it. What's stopping you to do it but your own mentality, your own thought forms of fear, of doubt? None of that shit can hold any weight within the mindset of somebody that's actually really experiencing this shit every day. Thoughts of fear, trauma and things of that nature, that shit don't hold no weight when nobody really evolving and going through an alchemical transformation. That's some light work shit. That shit is for a motherfucker that's still trying to build themselves up. So once you get the firsthand experience of really holding this shit, communicating with spirits, and they all validating all the things that you're doing, and man, I'm telling you, the sky's the limit. And then once you get to the sky, push through that shit. You see what I'm saying? And keep pushing the envelope. There's no ceiling to this shit, but the one that you create for yourself. You see what I'm saying? So don't create no ceiling.
Exactly.
Chaos has no ceiling of expression, the ways that it can manifest into your reality that you find yourself in. You see what I'm saying? So just know that that's the power that you have, but you can't put no limit to that shit. It's just like somebody putting a limit to your imagination. You can't do that. You see what I'm saying? So just having that mindset, but also having a mindset that every day you looking for something that's going to challenge yourself, that's going to make you stronger, that's going to provide the stumbling block for you to, navigate around it to become stronger, to evolve more. That's the mindset that I highly suggest people start to pick up on, because your existence, it'll become fun. It'll become more of an adventure than something that somebody condemned you to be in this body. You got to go about the shit that we all find ourselves in. Oh, I'm working, I got to do this or that. Ain't no excuses with this shit once you start to really experience it. You see what I'm saying? So it becomes fun. It becomes an adventure, you know?
True. And for example, Set pushed beyond the borders, boundaries, limitations set upon himself and others at that time in Kemet. Priesthood of Asar and Heru wanted to rule Kemet. And they wanted to pass this new system and this new belief of this afterlife and things of that nature. Set they were trying to quiet Set. They were trying to basically eliminate any existence or teachings of Set. Set was like, y'all can have that, because I don't agree with that. I think that every man or woman is responsible for their own destiny. I don't believe that any man or woman should have to do offerings or do all these extra things to receive some salvation. So that's when Set became known as the bad guy in Kemet, because he was not willing to conform to the masses and the priesthood, what they were teaching the masses. He felt if you have this individuated consciousness, you should be able to stand on your own 2 feet and determine your own destiny. 1, 2, create the existence of your life, and 3, be the master to bring order of your life. This is why in Kemet, he is the only one depicted on top of a pep with a spear, controlling, symbolically that means controlling Set, controlling a pep, being able to bring a pep under his control, or bringing chaos under your control. However, in Kemet, the belief was what? Everything is Ma'at, truth, order, righteousness, justice. Ma'at, right? Sounds nice. But the problem is, you would not need Ma'at if chaos wasn't already in existence. If chaos wasn't reigning supreme, you would not need Ma'at for anything. Ma'at concept was introduced, and I'm sorry this is going to hurt some Kemetic people's feelings, was introduced to sissify you or water down so you can be under this fluffy tail religious mentality of, oh, if I just live just and right and true and balanced, then I have a salvation where my heart and feather are going to balance out in the afterlife and I receive some gift. Bullshit. Okay? Seth said, I ain't down with that stuff. So when you hear us on this discussion and other discussions we've had, we're coming from the Set or Setian mindset, where we are the individuals that determine our life. We're not going to bow down to Asar. We're not going to bow down to Heru or none of these fluffy archetypes to keep you in the mindset of always worshiping, okay, and never really truly receiving anything. What's interesting, if you go back to the movie Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans, right, the remakes. Oh yeah. There, it basically says that Zeus basically says that if humans stop praying to us, we stop existing. Yo, I mean, you know, but of course, religious mindsets don't pick that up so easily. No. That is deep knowledge right there, because these gods only exist because you feed them your energy. Yeah. So if you feed them your energy and they exist because of you, who's really the master and creator over these gods? You are. Yeah. So if you're the master and creator of these gods, that makes you even more supreme than the gods that you want to worship. So if you are more supreme than the gods, then you are that eternal mind that created this existence you live in today. Reclaim that part of yourself and stop waiting for a handout. Stop looking for things, because that's what keeps you mortal. Mortals look for handouts. Mortal looks for gods, goddesses to give them some salvation, some gifts, give them some finances. We're titans, gods, make the shit happen. We don't wait for nothing to happen. I used to have discussions with people a few years back, and they couldn't understand the concept when I used to tell them, what really is life all about is your experiences, and through those experiences, you basically become and you evolve to be what you're supposed to be, whatever the hell that is, right? And they used to always say, but how do you create your own experiences? I just wait for them to happen. See, that's the problem. You're waiting for stuff to happen, and that's the mentality for a lot of people. They wait for things to happen, and as long as you keep waiting, it may never happen. Whereas we of this mentality, the dark mentality, dark side, shadow side, chaotic side, left-hand side, whatever side you want to pick, call, whatever name. Our mentality is, I'm not going to wait for the shit to happen. I'm going to create it so I can get the experience now. The greater your experience is, the greater your consciousness expands, okay? The more your consciousness expands, then you start to understand what existence is all about. Well, some will say, yeah, but I thought all was in the all, or everything is the all in all. Yeah, well, which part of you is the all in all? Okay? Because the all, when you put the, that's a definite article. You're bringing things into the physical existence. So the all there is you, okay? In your physical existence, you're the all. In all is that which cannot be measured by instruments, by definitions of human definitions. It is your eternal consciousness that is not limited. That is the all in all. And all is mental, so it all starts with you and it will all end with you. And if you don't take that control back, you're always going to stay immortal. You're always going to look at life as immortal, and you're going to not understand people in totality. Someone asked me the question, I'm going to pass this after I say this to Rogue Titan. Someone asked me a question. They said, well, what is the difference on the left-hand path and the right-hand path? And I told them, I said, there's many differences, but I'm going to tell you one major difference. Right-hand path has a superficial or fake idea of compassion. Left-hand path understands what true compassion is. I'll give you what I mean. If I have rage inside myself and I do the work, which is what we're supposed to do, the internal work of going within the self, facing the shadow and mastering the self, then I understand the rage within me. And if I understand the rage within me, I have more compassion for someone who had rage and allowed that rage to rule them and ended up in a situation that's not so beneficial for them now, but I can have more compassion than this fake bullshit that we're taught in religion and other spheres of life about compassion. I don't know how many people saw the movie Split before, but if you haven't seen the movie Split, go watch it. In that movie, the Beast, right? That's when one of his personalities, the Beast man, came out. And he told the girl, right, because he saw her scars, he said that the tainted are the pure, and the impure are those that are not tainted. That sounds crazy, but really think about it. The tainted are those who've been touched in malicious ways by life itself, that their hearts became more pure and understanding of those around them than those who claim to be pure but really have no damn idea about what it's like. You understand? That statement right there was so profound that I still quote that to this day.
Real shit.
Take it away, Brother Rogue Titan.
Yeah, I got an idea of, like, for people who really having a hard time and like letting go of this religious mindset that they may have forced on them by their parents or whatever, man, creating a ritual for yourself to go about doing a ritual by going to the astral plane and attacking or annihilating the thought forms of these religious gods like Jesus. Go on the astral plane, create the environment where he at and meet him and kill him. Why not? Why not go eradicate that thought form projection where he has no power over you anymore? You see what I'm saying? Whatever level of restriction that you may have as far as your thoughts that's keeping you from progressing, as far as a religious mindset or whatever, go about, be creative and use your imagination and contacting these thought form projections on the astral and kill them. That's going to take a lot of creativity. You can't approach that work thinking like no human. Now, what you can do is approach that work by embodying all these archetypes that you can tap into, whatever archetype that you need to crack into. Thanos. Imagine yourself as Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet going to attack Jesus or Buddha or Allah, whoever that's using whoever that's holding you back, and snapping that motherfucker out of existence. That's the mindset. You got to be creative with that shit, because you can't have them. You can't have those thought forms. You can't feed these entities, these the demiurges, or the you know what I'm saying, the 12 aspects of the gods, and you know what I'm saying, Crash of the Titans or Clash of the Titans. Yep. You can't have nothing that's holding you back. You can't be feeding these entities outside of yourself, because there's nothing outside of yourself. It's all within you, and you creating, and you feeding them by thinking in forms of negativity that's holding you back, because they take that and they use that as nourishment or loose energy to feed off of your immortal essence. You see what I'm saying? You the one that's in control of all this shit, and they more so like parasites. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like they're fooling you into thinking that there's some mighty God outside of you and you gotta fucking worship them and shit like that, when you the whole reason they exist. You see what I'm saying? So that shit he just dropped within that movie, you gotta go back and watch it, because there's a lot of jewels within that. Yep. Because that's how they take advantage of you. They ain't nothing but a thought form. Study what thought forms are and how thoughts are things in relation to how our consciousness works, and the things that we have within our subconscious mind that's stumbling blocks for us. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of good information within that. You see what I'm saying? But be creative and going about doing whatever types of shadow work that you got to have, whatever it is that you got to combine together, put that shit in a pot that's going to get your alchemical transformation cracking off, or that's going to get you to, you know what I'm saying, coalesce or bring back together your junk DNA. You got to do it. You see what I'm saying? And you may come across some negativity. Your conscious mind might get up there and interfere, like, oh man, this shit ain't going to work, man. You need to take your ass back to church. If you get thoughts like that, you need to run to that shit and eradicate that shit. You see what I'm saying? You got to kill that thought form projection from ever thinking it can come up when you're doing your shadow work. That's going to stop you from becoming the strongest version of yourself. You see what I'm saying? So whatever types of fears that you got to get, you got to run into them motherfucking, you got to attack that shit head on with excitement and the knowingness that once you get through that shit, you using that shit to fuel your alchemical transformation. Because there's really nothing that can stop you when you start this shit but your own ignorance of yourself, your own fears of acquiring this power. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. You got the Infinity Gauntlet on. You got all the fucking gems and shit, and you ain't using it because you afraid to use it. You know what I'm saying? You afraid of what it is to be all powerful. You see what I'm saying? You got to use that shit. You see what I'm saying? You got to really go about this work and start to embody the shit that you talk about. Embody the shit that you hear everybody else claiming themselves to be. You see what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, once you get the first-hand experience of this shit, and you seeing your life just transform in the ways that you dictated, not nobody else, in the way that you dictated from your subconscious mind doing the work, can't nobody take that shit from you. You see what I'm saying? But you gotta really be body with this shit. You see what I'm saying? And you can't have no fears when it comes to this shit. You see, if you do, you gotta take self-inventory on that shit and do the work and eradicate that shit. Get rid of it, because that's gonna be the thing that holds you back, and it's yourself that's holding you back. Straight up.
Exactly, and that is one of the biggest limitations that humans have is fear. Fear to be, most importantly, fear to be yourself. Yeah. Most of us are not ourselves, and I'm not speaking to people in this room. I'm just speaking in general. Most of us fear to really be ourselves, because to be ourselves is something that is outside the box, and the box has been defined for you. It's got nice little gift wraps on there, has nice little toys inside this box that you can play with and be distracted by. But your true existence exists outside of that box. But we're afraid because we're not so sure what's out there. We're fearing of what's outside of that box. But how can you fear yourself when you never were in the box in the first place? You just accepted what the box represented and what was given to you. You've always existed outside the box. Do you know why melanated people can be some of the most powerful vampires ever? Melanin, I just said it, because your melanin naturally absorbs energy. It takes the sun's light and synthesizes it into serotonin in your body. So then when the sun appears to set, which never really sets, by the way, that's an illusion in itself. That means set is always there. You just gave into the illusion that it sets. When set appears to set, the sun appears to set, what happens is that your body then synthesizes from serotonin into melatonin. And melatonin is what you need not only to sleep or have a deep sleep, but it's also powerful in manifesting or bringing power into your rituals, okay? Because of the energy you absorb during the day, you release that shit in your rituals at night, okay? That's why in all those who know, the symbol of Blade, the vampire hunter, right, is really vampires showing and basically paying homage to the melanated individual as the daywalker, right? Blade was able to absorb the energy of sun during the day and at night release it in rage to destroy those who are doing some shit, right? That's you in essence. You're able to absorb that melanin. Absorb that sun's energy and then transform it at night and empower your ritual stronger than you can imagine.
Right.
The problem is that we've been shifted to environments where the sun is not as beneficial to us as it could be. If you're in northern climates, yes, it's harder. That means you have to stay out in the sun longer. But guess what? They have you working 8 hours, and usually it's during the day. And after those 8 hours, then you got to do what? Another 8 hours of your life, cooking, cleaning, whatever you do. And then it's 8 hours of sleep or so. So how much time do you really have to charge yourself up? But because you absorb energy naturally, you naturally absorb energy off of people, okay? You naturally absorb energy off of people. This is why if you look at the environment today, you will see the masses of people are starting to gravitate towards more African Caribbean style music, right? The growth of African music, which called Afrobeat or Niger or whatever other labels they have, is growing by leaps and bounds. Caribbean music, whether it's dancehall, reggae, reggaeton, or whatever, is growing by leaps and bounds. People are drawn to that more than ever. Okay, especially some of us older folks. We know, and we've seen the climate change. Hip hop is all over the world like never before. I remember before we used to be clowned because we liked hip hop when we was younger. They used to be like, yo, yo, yo. That's what people used to be like, yo, that's the yo, yo. All this stupid stuff, right? They used to clown us. Now you got people in Italy dressing like a hip hopper. You know what I'm saying? The sneaker culture blew the hell up all over the world, right? Sneakerheads are everywhere. Started in urban communities here in America. Do you understand the power that you have and the absorption of energy is now being released on a mass scale? Okay? Yeah. People are desiring that more than ever. Naturally now, because of that, you're being fed energy freely. Learn to absorb it. Learn to take it in. That's why we do the Vampyre class, because we're learning different facets on how to take it in and utilize it, because as you see, Set is whipping ass on this planet. Kali is whipping ass on this planet. Shit is getting crazy, okay? I've not seen in all my life the storms hitting back to back all throughout Midwest. And we going through a heat wave here. Now we're getting hit with storms left and right here, flooding left and right. The shit is crazy all over the planet. How many earthquakes happened back to back to back? What, last month? From all the way from Alaska down to South America, there was earthquakes everywhere. If you're not in tune, your ass gonna be taken out too. You got to be in tune and learn how to devour, absorb, and master that energy and master yourself, because your ass could be easily rattled and absorbed and devoured as well. Yeah. Go ahead, Rogue Type.
No, you damn right you can be, man. So it's all about being, like you said, always being conscious. Like being conscious of you dictating your reality at every moment of your life. Never losing sight of what you are. Never losing sight of the self-deified self that you claim yourself to be. Like all the time. Always having your third eye open to be able to pick up the energy signatures of what's going on within your environment. But like you just brought about, like talking about how that energy is just like readily available for all of us to tap into, you absolutely correct. And it's a abundant amount. It's like it's endless. Like it's all about coming up with creative ways to tapping into it. Like for example, Godzilla came out last week. You see what I'm saying? I put Godzilla on my altar. Why? People going to see the movie, people feeding all that energy funneling to Godzilla, and guess what I'm doing? I'm embodying it. You see what I'm saying? And that shit fueling the already vortex that's my altar. All the entities and deities I got on there, it's just bringing it more energy for me to go about my ritual work, like you talked about that night with when the melatonin is popping off through the pineal gland. So it is bringing about me to having even more elaborate experiences on that astral plane when I'm conducting my ritual work. So it's just, you just come up with creative ways. You see what I'm saying? It's all kind of avenues and ways of to tap into this energy. There's no one way. There's no one wrong way to do this shit. So it's just about being creative with this shit. And like you talked about, always being aware of your surroundings, because everywhere you go, you got to understand that you're controlling the environment that you find yourself in. You see what I'm saying? So always be mindful of that. Be mindful of the energy that you hold and how it's going to affect those in your environment. Find out ways to, you know what I'm saying, strategically send out your thought forms or your thought waves that's going to affect your environment, that's going to benefit you. You see what I'm saying? That way you won't run into no chaos that's not started from you, that's not dictated by you. You see what I'm saying? So within any interaction that you have, if you the motherfucker that's controlling it, nothing can come your way that's gonna harm you because you're the one that's controlling it. You see what I'm saying?
True.
But you brought up something I want to go back to. You talked about how people they put themselves in a box, and we exist outside that box. But I also want to tell people that the box, they put themselves in and going about thinking like everybody else. From my perspective, that's no different from a farm.
Yep.
And if I'm looking down on a farm as somebody that feeds on the farm animals, that makes me something else. That makes me something outside of that box, something that's monstrous, something that's demonic. And all those entities or those animals on that damn farm is utilized for food. So understand the dire consequences when you're going about putting limitations on yourself, thinking like a human, thinking that you only have 5 senses, thinking that you're immortal and you may die and you just go up into the afterlife or go to heaven or something, because there's consequences that come about thinking a certain type of way, because there are entities. There's all kind of different entities that feed on the fact that you thinking you're going to put yourself in a limited box, a way of how you express yourself, because you lower yourself. You put an energy blanket on yourself, and that shit shines out like a light, like a beacon for motherfuckers like me or anybody else as something to eat. I might mistaken you for lunch. You thinking that type of shit on the ash or some shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Indeed. So always be mindful of the thoughts that you attribute to yourself, the limiting thoughts that you attribute to yourself, because you just opening up avenues of something to come up in there. Predators, like predatory spiritualism, that shit exists on high and in this reality. You see what I'm saying? Don't get that shit twisted. You see what I'm saying? This shit ain't sweet out here. It ain't all fluffy like you hear with them hotel comedic niggas talk about. It's a light aspect and a dark aspect. You see what I'm saying? But something else you brought up about, people gotta really be willing to stand on their own with this shit. This left-hand path shit, you really gotta, you know what I'm saying, accept the fact that you're different. Accept the fact that you may be the black or the dark sheep of your family. And own that shit. You see what I'm saying? Own it, motherfucker. I ain't like the rest of you niggas praying on Thanksgiving and shit with your hands all up. I don't do none of that shit. And ain't none of y'all niggas gonna give me no smoke with that shit either. Yeah. So always be willing to stand on your own and go about your own avenue, your own path with this shit. You see what I'm saying? And own that shit and relish the fact that you know what I'm saying, the only motherfucker that you can depend on with this shit is you. Yep. That's it. Like, what better like that's something to me. That's a sense of sign of power into being able to depend on yourself instead of saying having your hand out for somebody to pick you up. No, motherfucker, the only motherfucker that's wiping my ass after I take a shit is me. You see what I'm saying? Have that mindset when you going about your spiritual work. Motherfucker, I'm the only motherfucker that's gonna do this shit. Ain't nobody, cause that's it. Ain't nobody gonna help you with this shit but you. Yep. And you got all the power and all the resources within you to do any and everything that you can imagine. So why not do that shit? You see what I'm saying? Take that shit, how you want it, but that's a challenge that you should have within yourself to really have the experience and really utilizing that shit. It works,
And something I really like that you were saying is this emotional trauma. I'm gonna just say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you turn on the news, they're creating more emotional trauma. These current events, as they call them, or life events that are happening, these traumatic events. See, that's purposely put out there because they know that the masses of people react to that. And they know us as melanated people react to police brutality, police killing, police killing other people, our people, and things of that nature, right? So they know that we react to that. But they do that purposely because they feed off your ass when you do that. You best believe that there's predators in these higher powers, these principalities and higher places that basically your corporations and the people behind the scenes that run stuff, they're feeding off of all our emotional trauma. They're feeding off of us reacting to this emotional trauma. And people go haywire, they start marching and all this stuff and then confrontations and all they're doing is sitting there watching this buffoonery and saying, look at how easy it is to control the masses of people. People who claim to be so conscious, right? These pro-black revolutionary people, these Kemetic coons and everything else, they claim to be so conscious, they're the first ones to react. They're the first ones to get emotional, the first ones to feed their energy to the very people who started this crap to get you involved emotionally in the first place. It's done for a reason. It's done to control every part of you. So every time you think you're breaking away, they create something else to bring you right back into the fold, right back into that cattle and sheep mentality. They create another event to bring you right there. People say, Ravana, you're heartless because I don't react to this person getting shot by a cop over here. I said, and I tell them, I said, it's not that I was heartless, but if you grew up seeing that in the cities I grew up in, and you see this on a consistent basis, you know this has been happening for years. What you start to understand is, if my mentality is affected by that, then I'm going to create the same situation to put myself in harm's way, okay? But the people I know who walk this path don't put themselves in harm's way because they don't allow that programming to exist in their minds that they're killing all of us. See, people say this all the time. They're killing all of us, right? Really? You realize that they need you more than you realize? Do you really understand that they need you more than you realize? You are the glue that holds this planet together. If you were eliminated off this planet, the electromagnetic forces that hold the planet together would just completely just separate and the planet would be destroyed. You're the glue that holds it together. They're not going to destroy you. They do this to scare the living crap out of people so that you can be easily put back under martial law or slave mentality so that they can have you and cultivate you back into these concentration camps or slave camps or whatever you want to call it. Stop feeding them your energy. That's the purpose of this. A person who is mortal feeds their energy to everything external. A person who is immortal sits back and says, I'm not influenced by all this bullshit that the media is promoting, social media is promoting, or anything else is promoting, because I could see the game being played before it's even out, before it's even given total information. I could see the game being played before it's even played. You understand? Because when you start to master yourself, you start to understand human mentality. You start to understand human condition on a whole nother level because you raise yourself out of the human condition. The human condition is the experiment you created to experience another level of life for you to graduate back up out of this bullshit to go to another level of existence. So when you start to really realize I'm the scientist who created this goddamn experiment I'm living in, you can pull yourself up out of this shit at any point in time, but you don't choose to. You happy here. You got happy getting your ass pumped without grease. You got happy getting played around and smacked around. You got happy because they gave you some red bottoms. You got happy because they gave you some Gucci shoes. You got happy because you're wearing Prada, right? You got happy off of that, but failed to realize that while you can, I'm not saying you can't enjoy that shit because I wear nice shit, goddamn. I ain't gonna lie to you, all right? Because I pamper myself. But at the same time, I don't need the shit. I could get rid of it easily and still represent. You understand? What I'm saying, though, is if you fall for this conditioning and don't break out the box, you're always going to be in there, easily manipulated and controlled. And they're doing this. Mortals give life to this consistently. Every time I hear one of these conscious individuals, comedic individuals, it's always what the white man did to us. It's always about slavery. It's always about Kemet and did the Metanetter this and what. Who gives a goddamn thing? I'm going to tell you, that's good. That's nice history. Good to know. But that shit is not relevant to your life today. Your life today is what you do today that's going to make you more powerful for tomorrow. Not sitting there waiting for shit to keep coming to you. How do you become powerful? You just sit there and pray all day? You sit there and meditate all day under the Bodhi tree? No, okay? You become powerful by taking action. You are proactive. Become proactive. Stop waiting. Do the shit. Get busy. Every part of your life should be a ritual. Rogue Titan says that a lot. Myself, I say that a lot. You could go read the book, The Left-Hand Path Guide by Uncle Setnak. In there, he said, it comes to a point when you become the altar. Yeah. You become the living altar, and you are the ritual. Every step, everything you do, every moment is a ritual. You're not always in front of an altar because you are the altar. Your body's the altar. You understand? The candles are your lights or eyes. That's the candles that you light every day and night. You are the altar. The fire that burns is that incense, that fire that's burning from the charcoal, however you want to light it, is that solar plexus. You are the walking altar. When you start to realize that, you start to become immortal. Stop limiting yourself. This is what we do a lot. We limit ourselves and then we judge others based upon our limitation. Because you did this, Rogue Titan. This is what you are, Rogue Titan. Bullshit. You don't know shit about Rogue Titan because you're not in his daily life. You're not walking the life he lives in. Shut the hell up. Keep it moving. But people want to judge you because they think they got some dirt on you. Everybody in this room has some dirt they did a long time ago or probably doing tomorrow. Who gives a damn? It ain't none of my business. It's your business. And what you do is what you do. You understand? Why niggas always want to be in your bedroom? They want to be in your closet. They want to be in your goddamn drawers if they could. Get the hell out of my business. Go live your business and do what you got to do, right? Like Demetrius said, he loves his dirt. I love my dirt too. You should all love your dirt. Fuck who judges you. Fuck who wants to say you're this and you will never change. Give them the finger and keep it moving. Because every one of y'all in this room can prove people wrong by first proving yourself wrong. And what I mean by that is proving the limitations you put on yourself as wrong. You can break this shit. Go ahead, Rogue Titan.
Man, you really just need to throw the mic down after that shit, dog. Because real shit that you brought up. And another thing, man, I noticed that they ain't been using a lot of them police shooting. They ain't really been broadcasting that shit out there. Like last couple months, I've been paying attention to that, which leads me to believe that the game for them to feed and funnel that energy ain't conducive like it was in the past. People become aware of that shit because I'm gonna tell you, When shit like that happen, I feed on that shit. I redirect that energy to me as well. I'm like, since niggas gonna really keep reacting to this shit, I'm gonna take it too. I'm gonna eat that shit. And like you see the Ouroboros feeding on this tail, that's what I'm doing. I'm just using that shit for my own, to fuel my own chaos energy. Because we chaos beings, and melanated people are chaos beings, and they feeding chaos to that energy, and that's how they try to tap into that shit. I'm like, I'm coming to the dinner table with that shit too. I'm about to eat that shit. So it's all being, like you said, being aware, finding out what's the chink in your armor for you to utilize that shit for your growth. So embrace your trauma, embrace the things that you look down on yourself in the past, and change them into opportunities for you to go through and to cultivate your spiritual growth. Yep. For you to embody your self-deified self and have the self-actualization and the apotheosis within your mind, within yourself, to being what you are. You just brought up about being the altar. That, I mean, you absolutely 100,000% correct with that shit. If anybody really experiencing with this, when you get to a certain level of, you don't have to really do the ritual work in front of your altar, you become the ritual and you become the altar. That is an energy shift that happens within our consciousness, and we just become and embody what it is that we're you know what I'm saying, what it is that we're becoming. And it's a constant thing. You can never turn it off when it comes to this point. You can never stop this progressive form of evolution that you're going through from your mindset as far as your spiritual growth. And it's going to encompass your whole reality. People are going to see you different, but people are going to see you different in the way that you want them to see you. They're gonna look at you and they're gonna see somebody that's really empowering, that's doing the things that's necessary for him to self-empower himself. And you would be a shining light for somebody who may be on the same resonant frequency that you on, for them to cultivate the spirituality within themselves, to be on the same wavelength you on. You see what I'm saying? So you can be a beacon of you know what I'm saying, somebody that somebody else can aspire to. You know what I mean? So that's always about taking inventory of yourself and being aware of your energy signature within your environment, because you have a lot more powerful impact than one may think within the people that you find yourself. And they may not tell you, but they watching what you're doing, and they can pick up on that shit. They can tell when things are gonna be, damn, I gotta step my shit up. He doing this, I need to do it. But they might not speak on it. But it's something that they do mentally. You see what I'm saying? So with all of this shit that's going on, like Ravana was talking about, everything that's happening on this planet right now is to your benefit if you know how to change your perception and see it for what it is. That you creating this shit, you the scientist, this is your experiment, and everything within your experiment is how you want it to be. Yep. Everything. Take full responsibility for everything that's going on. These storms that's raging and shit, those are the storms that's raging because you created them. Yep. Why you created them?
Because we enrage.
Exactly. You give it to definition of how you want to, you know what I'm saying, define it for yourself, and you do the work necessary for you to embody that shit for your transformation. That's what this shit is. We're scientists. You know what I'm saying? We're not reactionary. We proactionary. You see what I'm saying? We dictating this shit. So understand, like he talked about, changing your mindset from thinking like a human into becoming a titan or becoming a god that you know what I'm saying, you claim yourself to be. You see what I'm saying? This is what you are. It's all about putting your big boy shoes on, your big girl panties on, and really rocking that shit and really wearing it, and not having the fear of what it is to actually hold this power. You see what I'm saying? Because outside that box is chaos energy, and it's symbolized as darkness, as the, you know what I'm saying, dark matter, dark energy. That's what you are. Before you came into a physical body, you were this big, all-encompassing void of energy, and it has no form. It has no form. You see what I'm saying? But it can be anything. It's, you know what I'm saying? So when you go into the dark, anything can be in the dark. You see what I'm saying? That's what you are. Don't be afraid of that shit. But if you're afraid of it, you're just looking at it from a human's perspective. A human should be afraid of it. But you not human, motherfucker. You a god. You see what I'm saying? Act accordingly. Think accordingly. You see what I'm saying? And really, once you really step back into that power. Really, once you put that infinity gauntlet on, the rest is history. Yep. You see what I'm saying? Then it's like you were talking about. Then your experiences will be more beneficial. Your perception will change. Where you look at a negative situation and you will see the underlying you know what I'm saying, positivity for you, not for everybody else, for you. You see what I'm saying? Make that shit work for you. And I'm telling you, once you really embody this shit, once you really embody it, there's nothing that can change that. You know what I'm saying? That comes with firsthand experience and you really being truthful for yourself and having a mindset of you actually attaining this shit. It's right there in front of you. You know what I mean? You're doing it anyway, because if you're not doing it, people like me, Ravana, and the other motherfuckers will take full advantage of it. Yep. Straight up. You saying you either eating at the table or you the motherfucking food on the table that's getting eaten. There's no other way around that shit. Straight up. There's no other way around it.
Yep, that's true. And always remember this. Rogue Titans talk about this as well in some of his videos. You're the archetypes that are presently all across this planet, all in these different myths, all across these different cultures. You're those archetypes that they write about from the past to today. You just got to keep being that which you've always been. If some people say becoming into what you should, I don't say that. I say be. And the reason why is because this is what you've always been. You cannot be anything more than you've always been. You've been this. You just forgot. Now the triggering, the awakening is here. What do you do with it? You just massage your ego and say, oh, I'm so great because I'm a chaos being, or I'm so great because I'm this and that. Or do you actually put it into action and make real life shit happen for you on levels that you not even imagine within your own confines of your mind? Yeah. That's what the level that we're trying to allude to and alluding to this evening on this discussion. So what I'm gonna do now, let me say a couple of statements here in the chat room that was put in earlier.
Good shit too.
I think this one was good. Demetrius said, you can chain an elephant with a silk ribbon by conditioning him or her with iron chains. Somebody playing some loud ass shit out here. Anyways, he will never change the false limits imposed upon them. So if you put an elephant on a silk ribbon, they will not try to break it because they will really, by the false limitations they put on themselves, think that they can't. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mario says, everyone watched the movie Scribbler. Is it a movie or a show? Oh, no, it's a movie. Scribbler on Netflix. So watch the movie Scribbler. It's SKRIBBLER. So anybody gets a chance, watch that.
Okay.
Demetrius says, the sun of light sets, the black sun rises. And that's what's happening today.
Yes.
All right. All right, so that's for that. So what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna take questions, but due to the sake of time, only one question and one comment. Only one question and one comment from everybody. If you don't have a question or comment, just say pass. That's it. Just say pass, and we'll go on to the next person. All right. So let me begin up here with KG, who's always making a furniture, designing, or doing something while we're talking. You must be. Are you a interior designer, KG?
No, I'm an engineer.
Okay, that explains it. Okay. You like to create and build stuff. All right. Any questions?
Always, yeah. No, I got some really great ideas from you. What I recently did is I decided to make a prayer to myself. So I say that every morning and every night.
Good.
But yeah, I'll take some ideas and implement them from everyone. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. I'll let you get back to building. All right. Mario.
Yes, sir.
What up? The wolf is alive. What's up, wolf?
I'm gaining energy. I'm drawing from both of y'all from this discussion with this. Like I was telling y'all about the God Eater altar I'm working on.
Yeah.
I got a tornado on it because, tornado devours everything.
Yes,
so,
yes.
But I'm loving this discussion because this is deep. This is serious. This is something real serious. And like I said, I'm just enjoying it. I'm at a loss for words.
Good. Well, that's unusual, brother. So we must have done something. Mario.
Oh, yes, indeed.
All right, bro. Appreciate it. Duma, you next. What up, Duma?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Chilling.
What's up?
It's an interesting conversation. What sparked me was it's interesting that when we think about it, that somebody in the distant past actually knew the science of what what they call egorgeries are, and took one tribal being, like say a Yahweh, for instance, and added to a way where everybody worships and feeded that being until it became strong enough that that it became so-called all-powerful. But that's just interesting to me. I think the Rogue Titan brought up the fact that we as chaos beings can devour energy, and that's basically what been done. We instead of being the beings that are worshipped, we became the beings that worship without knowing our power. And that's
Right.
for me.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I'll give you an example, an individual in our lifetime who's done the same thing. I'll use this person though, they're whack. Creflo Dollar, right? The guy back practically made himself a god, right? Became wealthy off his dreams, but he was worshipped by his congregation. So much so when his accusations came down the pipeline, they refused to accept it. Duma, I'm sure you know other people who are just like that too, and you know who I'm referring to, right?
Yeah.
Created themselves to be a god so their congregation could worship them. So much so that to this day they still don't believe that the accusations are true against them. That's power. We could say that person's whack and all this shit. It's true, but that's still some serious power. You understand? Because when you got the power to make people worship you in this lifetime, you got power. I don't care if we like the person or not. The shit is still powerful. You understand? Any other?
Definitely science to that. It's a definite science to it.
Yep. All right, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank
you. Peace. Good looking, man.
Demetrius, you next.
Alrighty. Well, I like what you said about making everything into a ritual and becoming the ritual, which that is extremely important, because if you do not understand that the corporations, the entities are doing the same thing. Look at your logos, look at how they set things up within the company structure. And if any of you have ever been inside of a courtroom, you are looking at and participating in a ritual. Yep. So understanding what that is, using everything for your rise. No matter what it is, you are a primordial being. Whether it's the food that you eat, instead of getting the programming, oh, this is bad for me. No, you can eat Twinkies and say, yes, I'm getting power from these Twinkies. Or I'm drinking some rum that is empowering me. Use it that way, because them gurus and them lamas from way back when, they did the same thing. Read Autobiography of a Yogi. There's a story in there where they tried to poison a dude, and he just drank that shit and transferred it to the person that gave it to him. So you could do the same thing, devour that energy and whatnot. You say we are the altar. Well, the fire of the altar is in your stomach. That's the digestive. Bring that energy into the stomach and allow that fire of the stomach to consume it. The smoke rises up the spine and awakens the mind and energizes the body. Use it. That's what we're here for.
That's that gin rising up the spine. That gin, smokeless fire.
Exactly. That's what you're here to be. As far as being in the box and all that stuff, I'm not outside the box. I'm not inside the box. The box doesn't exist. So that's horrifying to some people. So let them be horrified.
Right.
Yep. I appreciate that, Demetrius. Some 100% on that.
That was it.
All right.
Damn.
Zeta, you next. Oops, hold on. All right. Any questions, brother?
No questions, but this is a pretty good discussion. Giving me some ideas to implement for myself and stuff. So
Work it, brother. Just work it. I know you're working it because you got all shaped up over there and looking all smooth and shit. So some magic. Right? We don't know, but I know he doing it. All right, brother. Appreciate that, man.
Good
all
luck,
right,
man.
man.
All right. City and Goddess, you next. Any questions?
I don't have any questions because I came into this meeting with a lot of questions that have been going on in my mind. And through listening to some of the statements and things that were said, I mean, the questions are actually answered. This is one of the best meetings. You know, to say, you know, the tainted are the most pure is like such a true statement, something that, you know, a lot of people don't get, yet so much of this stuff is really so simple and common sense. And it's like, where is common sense in the world these days?
Indeed.
I'm glad I was finally able to make it to a meeting.
Yep, I appreciate it. All right, thank you, Sitting Goddess.
Thank you so much.
All right, next is King Shango. King Shango, are you there? Are you there, brother? King Shango is in the darkness.
I see something. I don't see that nigga though.
Yeah, he in the darkness, brother.
All right.
We're gonna come back to King Shango and check.
All right.
All right, JR the Starseed, my man making these vicious videos, son, on Instagram. Appreciate that. You know who this is, right? This the guy who's making all the dope videos on Instagram.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah,
Hey, passion. I'm saying peace and shit. Passion, my nigga.
Yeah.
What's up? Hey, this joint, I got kicked off on this joint, but I bounced back with it. I'm just getting it, getting in, listening, whatnot.
Okay.
Cool, my nigga.
All right.
Hey, thanks, bro. Thanks for chopping them videos up, dog. Big salute to you. Appreciate that shit.
For all those who ain't on Instagram, check my man out. What's your name on Instagram again? Because I know you changed it, right?
For you to be Universal One.
Okay, check him out because he be doing some ill shit with the videos.
Peace, yo. Appreciate that, yo.
Hypnotic shit, you know what I'm saying? And taking excerpts and putting some dope shit out. So if y'all if you're not on Instagram, you get a chance, go on there and check out how he remakes a lot of the vids. He's done a lot of stuff with the Triad of Darkness and other individuals out there, which is mad dope. So appreciate that too, brother. All right. Smooth P. What up, bro?
Yo, what's going on, brothers?
What's
up? No questions, man. I'm just really tapped into just really understanding the realm of my imagination and understanding that, you know, all my limitations that I place on myself, like Rogue Titan been saying, you know, just think of creative ways and destroy that shit, you know what I mean? And I just been having actual fun doing this shit, man. So just want to say big ups, man. Big ups.
Yeah, that's how you work it, brother. That's how you work it.
So keep doing that shit, bro. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Don't stop doing that shit, bro.
All right, bro. Thank you. All right, last and least. No, Lisa.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. And all I wanted to add with you, what you've always said this before, you know, just acknowledging that part of yourself, you know, putting it in control every day and speaking with authority. It's just really helped me out personally with my situation in my life. Because I know that if I don't do it, if I don't acknowledge the greater part of myself, well, my true self, the only self that we are, I just go back into the habitual child mind that was programmed. So
that's indeed. And Lisa said something really powerful there. You all are responsible for reprogramming your minds. No one's going to do it for you. You have to reprogram your minds. This is why we always say that you have to create your own affirmation, your own rituals and things of that nature. Because yes, I can share shit with you. Rogue Titan can share shit with you, but it's our shit being shared with you. You're not as vested in what we're sharing with you as if you create it for yourself. You'll be more vested in it because your passion is behind it. When your passion is behind something, the intent is fueled and pushed further out into the universe, so to speak, to manifest that which you are trying to bring into your life or are bringing into your life, depending on how you look at it. So Lisa said mouthful there, and that's one of the most important things. You are responsible for that which you are trying to affirm. So why not affirm your own existence and put yourself in the position of the head of the seat of the table? All right, you're the head of the seat of the table. You may have guests at your table, but you sit at the head. Don't forget that. All right. All right, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
I ain't even going to go to JR Wacky J because his ass just showed up. So yeah, he gonna have to watch the rebroadcast when we upload it on YouTube. All right, so next week, hopefully Cosmic Serpent is able to join us, but she's been busy. If she's still busy, Brother Rogue Titan and myself will do another video next week. Rogue Titan, we need to get on this hip hop shit too, son. I keep forgetting that.
No. I'm happy you brought the shit up, man. Cause I ain't even brought it. I ain't talked about that shit in none of my videos. But I gotta get this out. Like it's just like about to blow up in me, dog. Cause I'm just as passionate with hip hop as I am with my spiritual work. And nigga, we gotta.
So why don't we do this? So we can introduce a new channel, which is gonna be hip hop and the occult, okay, or something along those lines. Why don't we next week do a hip hop and the occult show here? Okay, and segue. Just in case Cosmic Serpent can't make it, we will have this because I have a feeling she's gonna be busy again next week. So we can do a hip hop and the occult next week. So all you hip hop heads, you come strong next week. Just know I'm gonna share a lot of stuff that I learned from Africa Bombada. I was a student of his for years. I was also vice chapter leader in Hartford, Connecticut. I know Bam, like we like mad cool right now, okay? I know a lot of his accusations, and yeah, I can say a lot. Some of them shits is true, okay? But all I can say is, he taught me a lot. Outside of that shit, he taught me a lot. Since then, I ain't really as close as I used to be, but just say I'm gonna share some shit that he knows that other people don't know about what happened during that time, okay? Not only that, he allowed me to watch. I don't know if people remember Betamax, not VHS, Betamax. There used to be VHS videos and Betamax. Betamax was like cousin to VHS, but VHS kind of became the more dominant. He showed me old videos that he recorded from late 70s to early 80s and shit like that. All right, so we're going in. We're going in next week. So come with your questions or come with your information, your own personal experiences about hip hop, and we're gonna tie it all and relate it to the occult because it is related to the occult, and it's strongly related to the occult because a lot of some of these earlier pioneers like Bam and them started bringing the occult into hip hop way back in the early days. All right, so we're gonna go into a lot of that. So we're gonna end this a little early tonight because that's it, and our time is almost up. So be here next week at 9. For those in the Vampyre class, you'll receive the invite party on Wednesday night. And that's about it. All right, y'all.
Peace. It's a damn illusion.
All right, y'all.
Peace.